Hi, and welcome to Teen Kids News. I'm Reed. We've got lots to tell you about this week, so let's get right to it. Here's our top story. How did the fear of war end up creating a test thousands of high school students take every year? Let's find out.
Shortly after the end of World War II, a new conflict began. This time, it was between the United States and its former ally, the Soviet Union. But unlike previous wars, this war didn't have major fighting between the US and the USSR. So it was called the Cold War, and it lasted from 1947 until the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991. The Cold War was a time of high tension. The world's two superpowers were locked in a power struggle, each trying to achieve dominance over the other. One of the most hotly contested areas was science. America began to fear that the Soviets were outpacing us. To prevent that, our government wanted to give high school students a head start on college. So, in the 1950s, the AP exams were created. It was a big change for those on the road to college. But now, the AP itself is changing. And Rob Franek, editor-in-chief of the Princeton Review, is here to tell us about that. Rob, let's start by first explaining just what the APs are.
Well, AP stands for Advanced Placement, and they're challenging honors-type courses. Now, APs are taught in more than 23,000 high schools across the U.S. They're offered in 38 different subjects. Each follow a very specific course syllabus set by the College Board, the creators of all things AP.
Besides being good for our college applications, why are AP courses and exams important?
Well, APs not only show that you challenge yourself in high school, they can also help you place into higher level college courses. That's why they're called advanced placement. Also, you can earn college credit and you can save time and tuition dollars. Now, some students have knocked off a whole semester or even a whole year of college by racking up college credit via their AP courses. And last, they're also helpful in winning scholarships and grants.
So what's new with the AP exams?
Well, the College Board, the creators of all things AP, is transitioning 9 of its AP tests to digital versions. So those initial 9 tests will no longer be given in their pencil and paper versions.
Can you list the digital APs?
Absolutely. As I said before, there are 9 going digital. First, African American Studies. Now, that was a pilot program last year, but by May of 2025, it will be a full-fledged AP exam. The next on the list, or the next 8 on the list, are computer science principles, English language and composition, English literature and composition, European history, psychology, the AP seminar, which is a fairly new new course for the AP, U.S. history, and then the last one on the list, world history modern.
For those of us who will be taking a digital AP exam, what do we need to know?
Well, they're given on a computer, either a computer at the testing site or a student's own laptop or your school-issued Chromebook, providing it meets the College Board standards. Now, students will need to have already installed the College Board's Blue Book app on their testing device. That's the same app that students are using for the digital SAT, which debuted in March of 2024 here in the States. Now, having the app on your computer will also be important prior to the tests to allow you to take practice digital AP exams, as well as getting used to the tools and the functions of the device. So don't wait, install it now.
Good advice. So how does the digital AP differ from the traditional AP?
Digital APs are almost the same as the pencil and paper versions of those AP tests. They have the same content, the same number of questions, the timing, as well as the same scoring, score range, and scoring method, which all means that students can apply the same strategies that they learn for the pencil and paper ATP tests on the digital exam.
That's a relief. But isn't there a limitation to what you can see on the computer screen?
Yes, unlike the paper test, you can only see one question on the screen at a time on the digital APs. But the digital AP has a mark for review tool to flag questions that you may want to come back to. Now, students taking the digital PSAT or SAT will be well familiar with the mark for review option because it's shared on both of those tests.
Good thing to keep in mind. Any other tools we should know about?
Absolutely. The digital AP has an option eliminator. Now, this will enable students to cross off answers on screen by using process of elimination to find the right answers. Now, crossing off as many incorrect answers is a bedrock strategy that my team teaches to all of our students, and it is a great addition to the digital AP tests.
That'll certainly be helpful. Speaking of which, are there resources available to help us prepare for the new digital exams?
Yes, the College Board as well as the Princeton Review have AP resources galore, and personally, AP tests are my favorite tests to teach because they are absolutely coachable.
Great. Thanks, Rob.
Absolutely. Good to be here.
Rob also told us that in May 2026, more AP exams will go fully digital. As soon as we know which ones those will be, we'll let you know. For Teen Kids News, I'm Benjamin.
We've got lots more coming up on Teen Kids News, so stick around. And be sure to follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss out on Teen Kids News. We'll be right back. This report is brought to you by the National Road Safety Foundation. Feeling creative? Want to win a scholarship, as well as a free trip to New York City? Then you'll want to enter this year's Drive to Life PSA contest. Here's what you need to know.
For most of us, it's something we've been taught ever since we were 3 or 4 years old: sharing. According to the dictionary, sharing means to occupy or enjoy something jointly with others. One of the first things we learn to share are our toys. As we get older, we learn that there are many more things that we need to share. For example, the road.
Whether in a car, on a motorcycle, e-bike, a scooter, or even just walking, we all have the right to travel safely.
And that's why the NRSF is asking students across the country to submit ideas for a public service announcement on sharing the road. Anyone in grades 6 through 12 is eligible to enter. Once you've come up with your concept for the PSA, submit it. This can be as simple as a written description or an actual script. But please, don't send in a video. Videos will not be accepted, nor will group entries.
Submissions will be judged by NRSF staff and a blue ribbon panel of driver education teachers from ADCEA.
ADCEA stands for American Driver and Traffic Safety Education Association.
First prize is $2,000, but it's also a great opportunity. You'll work with an award-winning production team to turn your concept into a professional PSA.
And it will air nationwide right here on Teen Kids News during Global Youth Traffic Safety Month in May. In addition, there will be 2 runners-up, each receiving $500. And the teachers of the winner and runners-up will receive $100 gift cards. Here's an example of a winning PSA produced for a previous Drive to Life contest.
Are you guys excited for the party?
Guess what I've got?
Awesome. Do you want some?
Sure.
Move! I ain't got time for all this! Get over! Come on! My grandmother's fast.
Don't let anything
Stop you.
from speaking up.
If in a dangerous situation,
Stop the car now.
don't stay silent. Speak up. You may not get a second chance.
So are you up for a challenge? Check out nrsf.org and click on contests. Then download the entry form. The Drive to Life contest deadline for entries is March 25th. Who knows? Maybe this year's winner will be you. For Teen Kids News, I'm Alexandra.
If you've ever looked at your fingernails and thought, am I imagining it? They seem to be growing faster. You're not imagining it. Fingernails do tend to grow faster in the summer. Heat increases blood flow. That probably helps your nails grow faster.
We have to take a quick break, but don't go away because Teen Kids News will be right back. A study done a number of years ago found that 46% of us teens have a fear of failure. It's doubtful that teens today are any less fearful of failing. So that's why we're running this series called If at First You Don't Succeed.
She's such a singing superstar. It's hard to believe that Lady Gaga was fired by her first recording company, and after only 3 months. Def Jam Records canceled her contract, saying the singer just wasn't for them. Lady Gaga got the news just before Christmas. Devastated, she cried so hard she couldn't talk. But the setback didn't derail her meteoric music career. The 20-year-old singer-songwriter would go on to win more than a dozen Grammys. She's reportedly worth more than $300 million. Gaga says that getting dropped from the recording label with no warning was one of the worst days in her life, but it was also a turning point. It allowed her to experiment more with her music and develop her iconic performance style. She sees failure as an essential part of one's development. You have to fail and then get better. Then you have to fail again and then get even better. With If at First You Don't Succeed, I'm Emily for Teen Kids News.
When it comes to learning to play a musical instrument, here are the top 5 faves. Number 5, saxophone. Number 4, violin. Number 3, piano. Number 2, drums. And the most popular instrument to learn is the guitar. And more of us are learning to play the guitar than ever before. Over the past 10 years, the number of kids taking guitar lessons has increased by an amazing 50%. There are a lot of reasons why the guitar is so popular. It's easy to carry around, it's not very expensive, and so much of the music we listen to prominently features guitars, especially electric ones. And who doesn't dream of being a rock star? For Teen Kids News, I'm Brendan.
Still ahead, more Teen Kids News, right after this short break. Plastic. It's one of the main threats to marine life, which is why it's so important to recycle. But sadly, not all plastics can be processed by our local recycling centers. And that brings us to this report.
Just because we're supposed to recycle plastic, that doesn't mean we can just throw anything made of plastic into the recycle bin. As if recycling weren't complicated enough, the rules for what can be recycled are up to each community. And when you consider that there are about 20,000 separate communities across the country, you can see how confusing recycling can be. There are many types of single-use plastic that a lot of communities can't recycle. For example, plastic films, containers, cups, bags of all kinds, resealable bags, snack bags, garbage bags, cereal bags, bubble wrap, styrofoam, hard plastics, including spoons and forks and knives. Oh my! Even shredded paper. What we can't recycle, we throw out. But that also causes problems. Because much of this stuff ends up as either litter on our streets and green areas, in the ocean, or in landfills. Not only are landfills eyesores and a waste of space, they also emit greenhouse gases. Gases linked to climate change. So what do we do with all that unrecyclable plastic? There's a company in New Jersey that is developing processes that turn plastic items that are unwanted into items that are wanted. It's called TerraCycle, and they don't just deal with plastic. For a fee, they'll send you this all-in-one zero waste box. It takes many of the things your local recycling center can't handle. When it's filled, just mail the box to TerraCycle. Should just take a sec. Done, but instead of mailing it, let's pay TerraCycle a visit. We've We've arrived. This is one of TerraCycle's materials recovery facilities in Trenton, New Jersey.
Hi, Todd.
How you doing? Welcome to TerraCycle.
Thank you. I'm Ava from Teen Kids News. Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Can I take that for you?
Yes, this is my box of plastics that I couldn't recycle in my community.
Excellent.
So what can I do with it?
Let's take it inside and we'll take a look. Come on in.
So are these all plastics here ready to be recycled?
It's all different types of materials
Awesome.
that we receive from consumers all around the country.
That's amazing. And this is the materials recycling plant, correct?
This is what we call a MRF, which is a material recycling facility.
Awesome.
And this is where we do sortation, we check in boxes that arrive, and we send things out to processors from here.
Awesome.
So I'll tell you some more about it as
Great.
we can.
I can't wait to go inside. Oh, wow.
And I'll take you with me when Teen Kids News continues, right after this break. We're at TerraCycle, continuing our report on recycling those things that many communities can't recycle.
So what's the first step?
So the first step is we receive material in this facility. They come in boxes like this, which we check them in. We scan them into our system. It's weighed. We consolidate them, and then we sort everything into the right materials.
In addition to this location, TerraCycle has a number of facilities around the world where sorting takes place. After the items are separated by type, huge machines chop up the plastic into small shreds.
And then they get sent out to processors to actually be turned into PCR material.
PCR stands for post-consumer recycled. It refers to plastic that is made from existing plastic. The old plastic is melted down and turned into little pellets, which are then turned into new plastic items.
Tell us why PCR plastic is helpful to our environment.
So the nice thing about PCR plastic is that it's reusing plastics that have already been made. For instance, a bale like this is flexible plastic material that's going to be turned into pellets that can then be made into new products. So it doesn't require us to use more fossil fuels to generate new plastic material. So it's a great way to really embody recycling, in its fullest extent.
PCR plastics are used to create many things. For example, tote bags, frisbees, and even an entire playground.
What if I told you that playground behind you was made out of the material this bag is made out of?
I would have been amazed.
We've got lots and lots and lots of stuff here, I see. So my question to you is, how are items sorted? Is it by product? Is it by type?
So we sort things by different material types based on what comes in the boxes. So everything from different types of rigid plastics to flexible plastics, styrofoam, shoes, whatever different things come in, they're sorted based on how they're going to be able to be processed.
Interesting.
So some of the other things that we sort here are things like coffee pods.
Not only are the pods recycled, any coffee grounds they contained are collected and then spread out as fertilizer.
We also have electronic waste, PPE, personal protective equipment like masks, gloves, and other PPE materials, personal care and beauty products. We have clothing and textiles as well.
So these products, these are all examples of items that you can't typically recycle in your community.
Correct. These are traditionally items that cannot be recycled municipally at people's homes, but that's where TerraCycle comes into play. Our mission is to recycle the traditionally non-recyclable materials. So we create value for our customers by recycling things that you normally wouldn't be able to.
Families can buy a zero waste box, like one of these, but that can be costly. Another option is to have your school or club join one of TerraCycle's programs.
TerraCycle has a number of different national recycling programs that are funded by companies in order to facilitate the collection of these recycled materials. It's also possible to earn points for your local schools and charities that can be used for donations.
Overall, what can companies do to make recycling easier?
So companies can make products out of single materials that would make it easier for them to be recycled in the first place. That goes for both products and packaging. For example, a tissue box that's made out of cardboard that also has plastic on it may be difficult to recycle versus just having it made of cardboard alone.
Back in 1980, each American accounted for about 60 pounds of plastic waste per year. Since then, it's tripled. We're each creating more than 200 pounds of plastic waste a year.
Clearly, we need to break this dangerous cycle by doing our best to recycle all we can. For Teen Kids News, I'm Ava.
Well, that's our show for this week. Tune in here for more Teen Kids News next week, or catch us anytime on our socials. See you then.